Once upon a time, in a remote village nestled deep within the borders of Kano State, lived a young man named Tanko. Now, Tanko was a man known to be filled with great bravery and strength. He was rumored to have killed a lion and a snake with his bare hands at the same time. The villagers trembled when Tanko walked the roads, and nobody dared speak to him. The people's owner, as he was called, became so full of himself that he would walk past market sellers, tossing their goods on the floor without any remorse. Tanko was also a farmer. So one day, as he was on his way to the farm, he spotted a beautiful figure with curves so smooth he stopped to stare. He ran after the figure and called out to her. Surprisingly, she turned around and smiled at him and continued her journey without saying a word. Tanko was so dumbfounded he couldn't move further. Later that day, there was a knock on his door. The love-struck Tanko managed to clear the thought of the beautiful woman from his head and unwillingly opened his door. He was taken aback when he saw Tishimu, the village soothsayer, staring wide-eyed at him. "Stay away from that route when the sun sets and never speak to that woman again, or else you will be reduced to nothing." Tanko laughed out so loud that his eyes became red and watery. Tishimu only shook his head and left the man to his fate. "I will go back there today and speak to that beautiful woman. Surely nothing can happen to the strongest man in the village," Tanko boasted aloud. That evening, when the sun set, Tanko left the house in search of the woman whom he planned to bring home as a wife, for he saw himself as the only villager who deserved better than anyone else. Tanko hid behind a bush, and when he sighted her usual shiny long hair cascading below her waistline, he was so caught up in lust that he quickly ran out of his hiding place and rushed to grab her waist. Immediately he did, the strange woman turned around in shock, held Tanko's arm and looked directly into his eyes. As her stare hit his, Tanko felt something leave his body, something he knew was an important part of him. He started becoming weak, his strength leaving him, and suddenly he fell to the floor, unable to speak. The strange woman stood over him and smiled. Then she walked away without turning back. A huge snake passed, but Tanko was too weak to fight it, and he was beaten on the leg by the snake. Fortunately, some farmers who were passing by saw the scene and quickly came to Tanko's rescue. They were shocked to see the great Tanko on the floor. Only he knew what had happened, but he couldn't narrate the tale because he had also lost his ability to speak. True to Tishimu's words, Tanko was indeed reduced to nothing, and the people's owner was no more. He was now an average man who couldn't speak or fight anymore. He was no longer the great Tanko that was feared by the villagers. When he walked by the village roads, people would point at him, laughing so loud, and Tanko couldn't do anything. He couldn't defend himself. He couldn't speak for himself. He was now abandoned, and he lived alone at the dark end of the village for the rest of his life. The end. The moral of the story: pride comes before a fall. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more Once Upon a Time stories with essay.